In the building, man. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing, man? It is your boy West Coast. We live in the building, man. And man, we got my boy Law Nation. Hey, it's Tuesday. So you guys already know we always come up in here and bust up your Tuesday to kind of give you guys a round of everything that has happened since last Tuesday. So this is your Cowboys week, man. Brought to you by your boy West Coast and brought to you by the guy himself, the bearded wonder himself, Mr. Law Nation. What's up?
Yes, indeed, man. What's good, bro? How you living, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You know, it almost feels like the Dallas Cowboys, you know, I made a video on the Cowboys, what mode did they have their team on? And, you know, was it on franchise mode or was it on save mode? You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, man, it looked like the Cowboys flipped that switch. But yo, before we get into it though, Lord, we got some folks that's helping us keep these lights on. We got some folks that's paying these bills over here. You know what I'm saying? So we got to show them some love. Got to let them know that you are muy importante. Yeah, I mean, that is your word for the day. Importante. You know what I'm saying? All right, so go. This is what we're going to do. So real quick, as I say your name. Now, this is how it works, fellas. And fellettes, because we got a couple ladies out there. Shout out to the Cowboy ladies. Shout out to the beautiful Cowboy ladies that support. Appreciate you, man. All right, so this is how it works, right? If you're on YouTube, it's called stars, but it's also called shares. If you're on Facebook, it's called stars and it's called shares. If you're watching on Instagram, because I should be live on Instagram with the new update to restream, it's called gifts. So if we're live on Instagram, salute to y'all if we're watching over. Hey, could you go on my Instagram and see if we live?
Instagram, let's get down.
Yeah, because they just updated. Because now you can go live on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. I thought about doing it, but I haven't done it yet. So let me know. You be the guinea pig on that.
Let me know. Did it go?
No, it ain't go, Chief.
There you go.
You ain't live, but we live over here, though. We live over here, man. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Groove. Y'all know what to do, man. Sharing is caring and always supporting. Giving is a great thing, too. And if you're on the YouTube world, I appreciate y'all. And if I miss your name out during this process, charge it to our heads, not our hearts, man. But we got a lot of things to talk about, bro. Talk to me, man.
Facts, man. Facts. So this is what we about to do. We about to breeze through this SS real quick. I'm going to say what's up to a couple people as I say your name. Make sure you guys hit that share button. Importantly, make sure you hit that share button and also make sure you hit that star button. Erica, Nelson, what's up with you, Erica? Appreciate you over there. My boy Trent Trina, man, I see you over there. Who else we got over here? We got Christy. What's up with you, Bobby? I see you, Ray Mack. Hit that star button, my guy. Appreciate you over there, Ray Mack. Did I already see we got the Trent Trina, man? We do got the Trent Trina, man. What's up, Trent Trina? I see you over there. Miss Rose, I also see you over there. Ray Mack Christian. I see you, Christian. Appreciate you for tapping in. And then also over here, we got Jonathan G, double R. What's up with you? Jason Jesus sliding in with the $5 super chat. What's up with you? He just hit you with the $5 real quick, Law.
Appreciate you, man.
The real Bishop P. Kane, what's up with you? T Smooth, what's up with you? Mr. Cowboy, what's up with you, boy? Jonathan Duncan, what's up? Jonathan Duncan Sr. You know what that means? That means it's a real ass junior out there somewhere repping them Cowboys. Hell, you mean?
Yes, indeed. Hold up. We the boys, baby.
Hey, listen to me. Shout out to all the parents who made their kids Cowboy fans and they ain't had no choice. You feel
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I know I got a couple homeboys that gave they kid, man. You pick whoever you want to be. And now
in this house, you gonna serve the Lord and the Cowboys.
in this house. Hey, let me tell you how cold it was with my mama. Let me tell you. My mama literally told me, like, I remember a conversation where I was like, Mom, like, I'm a Laker fan and you're a Spurs fan, but we're both Cowboy fans. Like, she's like, yeah, because one's the Cowboys. I knew then.
The difference.
Well, one of the Cowboys.
One of the Cowboys. Yes, indeed.
Yo, salute to everybody that's tuning in. I gave Dax on Philly. I like that. Natasha Lane. I like that name. Y'all got some great names out there. Cody, I see you. Appreciate you guys. For everybody that's tapping in on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere that's tapping in. We appreciate Darnell. We appreciate you, man. Listen to me. Jerry Jones been at these owner meetings, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Listen to me. We trying to sneak into every meeting in America. We need to get a goddamn camera in that owners meeting, because the owners meeting seems like that's where it's all going down. You know
it's going down, man. It is. And Jerry at the tender age of 80. I think he's talking too much. But then again, it's about this too. We all know that he don't want to pay certain players. So when they start talking about Terrence Steele originally being the swing tackle, I was sitting there saying that that's just a ploy, right? That is just an event for him to say, I'm not finna give him starting money, right tackle money, right? So now all of a sudden, shout out to Clarence Hill or what have you, he came out with a report, and shout out to my guy, Defy Talk. He also repurposed it over there on the IG page. He said that, not just only that he is thinking that Terrence Steele would be a swing tackle, but lo and behold, he will be a left guard. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, this is my thing. Whenever the Dallas Cowboys start switching folks' positions, especially when it's time to pay folks, I always be like, is he switching them to a position that makes less money or switching them to a position that makes more money? Okay, so I look into my Handadex, you know what I'm saying, aka me typing it into Google. I typed it into Google because I don't listen. I think sometimes people be thinking that we be just like we have like this website of just great stats and they're just populate. It is. We actually do have one. Called Google.
Google me.
Google. And when I Google it, when I put the Googles in, it tells me that most tackles make way more money than most guards. So I guess the thinking, right? Yeah. Realistically, how you gonna switch anybody's position if he ain't even played healthy in his starting position yet?
That was my whole stance earlier this evening or this morning when I was talking. I was saying that literally the expectations now is a guy coming off of an ACL deal, right? For you to pick him up, and now you're going to put and slide him in a spot that he haven't played in, and now you're going to expect him to play at a level, because keep in mind, the Cowboys are only paying him $3.3 million. And now he's going to be up for more and more money, but it's going to be at a lesser cost because it's a guard. And the expectations is for Terrence Steele to play at a great level, not a good level or not at a below average level, but at a great level at a spot that he haven't played at before. I can't make this stuff up, man.
Yeah, and the great part about it is you already got him on a 1-year contract, so he ain't really got no choice.
What you want to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm King Kong over here, and Terrence Steele, if I want to play you at running back, you better do that, you know?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, like the way they do, this formula of how they do business is kind of indicative of what I think the Cowboys are gonna do with Tony Pollard. Like, I was always very curious of why the Cowboys don't use him in the passing game. And it's like, now that you've gotten Tony Pollard on this contract for $10 million, as a running back, I would not be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys did the exact same thing that they're doing with a lot of these guys, is as soon as they get them on a contract, put them on, start using them in different aspects. I wouldn't be surprised, like, if the Cowboys in their mind can validate paying Tony Pollard $10 million on a 1-year deal, because they already know that they are going to do what? That they're going to be playing him at different positions. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's, and to be honest with you, I'm not saying that's how you do business, but sometimes that's kind of how you do business. At least that's how you do business in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So, do I agree with him moving? I don't really even think you're in a position to say where anybody is going to be playing at right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you have injuries. Like, you have injuries he has an injury right now. So it's like, a guard position, last time I checked, has to be almost more violent. A tackle is more finesse. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyron Smith is known as a gentle giant. Like, he's going to put that paw on you and you're going to sit down where he tell you to sit down. You know what I'm saying? But guards are always known as these viciously, like, pit bull, just nasty dudes. That's why people be like, oh my God, Zach Martin's such a nice guy. I'd be like, yeah, he probably is in life. But on that football field, I'm pretty sure people be like, Zach Martin's an asshole. That's what guards are. You got to be violent, man. And coming back off of an ACL tear, and you've never played at the position, I feel like you count. I think if this is Vegas, I almost feel like you're betting against me more than betting with me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Whereas now him playing at guard, yes, he will have the responsibilities of A gap and B gap kicked inside. You get your bigger bodies down in there, your bigger boys or what have you. And he's been used to only worrying about the inside where he got Zach Martin to the left of him and forever. And we all know C gap is forever. So he only had to worry about those things, which he was accustomed to playing at a nice level. And shout out to Duke Manyweather, who came out and said, yeah, Terrence Steele is the best right tackle on his team. And right before or right after Terrence Steele got hurt last season, Zach Martin, he said that Terrence Steele was the best offensive lineman on the team. And that means that he was even better than him. And I know that that's just, football. Hey, that's my buddy talk. But you seen that Terrence Steele was heading in that direction. Why would you stunt that? Why would you put that out? Why would you take that fire and put it away? That's crazy.
Especially when Terrence Steele didn't cost you anything. Like, the Cowboys are weird to me, bro. Like, they don't know when they up. Like, they don't know when they up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I sell pallets, right? And like, I buy stuff that people buy. We buy wholesale stuff that people buy online, and then we sell it at a reduced price, right? When they can't return it. And so I'll have like a brand new, I'll give you a great example. I had a couple days ago. I had my mind is going blank. An ice chest, big old it's like a refrigerator, but it's just for deep freezer. It was a deep freezer.
Okay, yeah.
Deep freezer was $3.99, right? $3.99, brand new. It was damaged box. I mean, the only thing that was wrong with the item is it had a damaged box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the item itself is fine. Brand new, right? I post the item at $250. Dude hits me up. Hey man, why can't you? This is offer up, bro. Why can't you give a discount? I'm like, bruh, you're already getting a discount.
Right.
The discount is already built in. You got to know when you're up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, sometimes the Cowboys, they don't understand when you up. Listen to me. When you don't have to draft a guy who is now known as the best offensive line, listen to me. Anything, any position. If you come up on a guy in the way you came up on Terrence Steele, a guy that you didn't have to pay for to even get on your team, a guy that just kind of fell to you, that is now grown into the best on your team, bro, you're up. You're up. You're up right now.
But, when you're cocky, right, or when you have extreme confidence, they're probably looking at it like, man, I done got Terrence Steele out of the mud, and I promise you, the expertise that my staff can do, we can get another Terrence Steele out of the mud. The same conversation and scenario that was said that when Jerry Jones said to my guy, Jimmy Johnson, I can find 500 other coaches to coach this team and win the Super Bowl. And ultimately, he did. Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl. But the problem is the truth. The truth will take its time to get there. And you will be living off of the lies until someone say, hey, the truth of the matter is, yes, you won that Super Bowl, but that wasn't under the Barry Switzer philosophy. Those were still Jimmy Johnson fingerprints and his philosophy on the team from what he built. So now you start chasing and you're losing ground on what you stood on, and that's principles. And the Cowboys been not standing on principles. Go ahead, don't get too cute. Sign Terrence Steele to a long-term deal and don't deal with the flaws of the lies that you're standing on.
Yeah, man. And also, Cowboys, I feel like at some point in a business, your job is to minimize risk, bro. Like who wants to be go in a business where it's cutthroat every day? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to, I used to be cell phones, man. I'm gonna tell you, cell phone industry is the most cutthroat industry in the world, because you will literally sell someone a 4 for $150 one month. It's the greatest plane on earth. And then the very next month, hey, take those signs down. Why? What's up? The 4 for 50, the 150 is now what? The 4 for 100. What? Right. What happened to them customers? They're paying $50 more.
Yeah.
No, bro. It's more cutthroat than cell phones, right?
Yeah.
So it's man, the Cowboys, I always say this, man, minimize your stress. Meaning this, instead of, and listen to me, in the name of Jesus, we are not going to have this conversation, but I am going to mention his name, because as soon as it happens, it goes toxic in here.
Right.
Dalton Schultz. Okay. Come on. Everybody. Hey, calm down. Calm down.
Schultz.
We're not going to do that right now. We're not going to have that conversation. We're not going to have that conversation. We're not going to have it. But all I'm saying is, technically, you created a question mark because you don't know what's going to happen between Ferguson in this year. That is real. There is legitimately a question mark there.
That is.
All I'm saying is this. We can recognize that there's a question mark there. Why create another one? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm not.
Yeah. Right.
Just use me as an example. But Law, please tell me you get what I'm saying.
I'm following you. You know what I mean? Hey, some people say, hey, they question the things that they do. For example, they may take one edible and say, man, these edibles ain't nothing. Then they get a handful and saying, hey, somebody tell them, hey, don't take another one. Don't take another one. And before they had 3 of them in their mouths, and now they so high. They John Legend over here. So the whole point of it is Cowboy Nation. We don't want to take too many edibles at one time because you'll be too high to climb down from it. So I want you guys, I hope that ain't a horrible analogy. Hey, I want you guys to take it at a time, one step at a time.
I'm going to tell you another one, though. I'm going to tell you another one. It's like this. Everybody can handle their liquor, right? But how many shots can you take before you can't realistically drive? Now, we do not support drinking at all, but I'm just don't answer that question in the comment box. Because if you answer that in the comment box, you will be self-incriminating yourself. Okay? This is not an attempt to put you in jail. Okay?
Yeah. All
right, and just let everybody. But I just want you to think about it on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You chilling. You know, you can handle your liquor. I don't drink, so I don't know. I can't handle half a shot.
Right.
Alcohol. But I want to know, how many shots does it take before you can't like move the way you want to move? And what I've always said is like, listen, you go to a party, you're gonna take a couple shots. You're gonna take a couple shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have fun. We're gonna have some fun. Even Jesus at the party said they ran out of wine. Jesus looked at the water, said, keep the party going. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it going, you know, let's keep it moving, you know.
Yeah. I want to know. Bro, you can't take too many shots, man.
Right.
You just can't. You know what I'm saying? You always take a shot at the running back, the tight end. Now you take a shot at the offensive line. No, somebody got to be sober and get us home, bro.
Somebody, man, and you don't want to get too weeble-wobby at the knees, man. We used to have parties, man. We used to have parties. Not going to tell my age, but it was over 20 years ago. And you used to have to take a shot in order to get in. House party, you had to take a shot. So what we did was we didn't want nobody to be bland. So we wanted everybody to at least be lifted a little bit, right? So the Cowboys already took their shots, right? But you don't want to take too many. But at least you know that everybody in the building at the party at least got lifted a little bit. But you don't want to get them too lifted where they stay too long. So yeah, I get what you said. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right here, man. I ain't gonna lie, Law. I thought I was drunk as hell. I thought I was drunk as hell because I was on Twitter,
right,
kicking it with my twiggers, and man, I must have sworn I heard somebody say, if there's a chance that there's a road in an intersection of Ezekiel Elliott and Dallas Cowboys, if they meet and they go across and they intersect, then there might be. I would never take the opportunity to think that we wouldn't bring. We would always have opportunities. So what are you saying? You're saying is there's a chance that Zeke might come back. What I'm saying is we will never rule that out.
Yes, indeed.
Wait, time out. Am I drunk or is Jerry drunk? I don't drink. Jerry looked like
Jerry.
I want me some glory hole.
I know for a fact they getting lit in them owners meeting because he come out there looking like Troy Aikman. Red.
That's probably what. You know what? That's what it is. That's what they doing at those owners meetings. You know what I'm saying? They are having a jolly good time. And think about it. Around this time a couple of years ago, Remember, even Jerry Jones said, hey, he envisioned Dez Bryant in the showers, right? So I can understand what he's saying. And that was when he gave Dez Bryant the boot, by the way. So Jerry Jones going to say Jerry Jones things. And Jerry Jones is wise, smart, beyond his years. That's just how it goes. That's why he's 80 and still talking about this football. Because I hope when I get to 80 around that time, yes, I'm going to have my mind, but I shouldn't be worrying about the Cowboys and what they're doing. He should be sitting back on somebody's yacht or his own yacht, sipping some Mai Tai infused with some Johnny Walker Blue and just relaxing. But this man is talking too much to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just to me. Yeah, that's just what it is.
I'm gonna tell you like this, you may not be able to make it to Jerry because Jerry be messing with them hoes, and your wife gonna kill you.
You ain't lying.
Somebody dropped a defamation case on Jerry. Listen, Jerry got more cases than I don't. Hey, damn. Thank you, man. Jerry got. Listen to me. The reason why Jerry don't be tripping on legal problems because he's still dealing with his. Like, one thing I know for Joe is Jerry is not a hypocrite.
Yeah. But
you and Jerry, the team and Jerry be in family court. It's ridiculous.
But before you say another word, allegedly, you gotta throw the alleged word. The allegedly, you know what I'm saying? Because Jerry, man, you my boy, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. Yeah. Shout out to you. Allegedly, man, he's going through that because you know how that goes.
Again. It hits differently when you put the again at the end though.
Again,
it's hit different, you know what I'm saying? Like it just
old folks say not everybody's lying. Some truth is around there.
I heard that, Your Honor. I do not know this man.
Yeah.
But let's really jump and let's hash this. I had a picture that I was going to show. I'm looking for it right now, but Stephen Jones actually said something that was very, very interesting to me. Right, and he said this right here. He said that, let me see. I ain't gonna be able to find it. But basically what he was saying is he said that in a perfect world today, he said this, in a perfect world, he would like to find a running back that is basically a big bruiser back that could complement Tony Pollard. So you know what that meant? That meant to me, that guy is not on the roster right now. And that also let me know that until the Dallas Cowboys get someone that they actually deem as a Zeke replacement, we are a single back running back team until that point. Because go ahead.
Well, I agree, but Rojo played in a split back system, right? And he's not a bruiser type of guy, but he's not a guy that lay down too. So he's 5'11", right at 215-ish. So is he more lightning versus thunder? He's in between. I know for sure Tony Pollard is lightning. I still got reservations on whether or not Malik Davis is who he really is. Shout out to him. Kudos and credence for the spoonful of reps that he got last year. But we will have to figure this out during the course. So that's why I truly believe that the Cowboys will go into this draft and go get one of those big boys that's naturally 220 or right at 215 that run mad with their hair on fire. So they probably going to do that in this draft.
Who would that guy be? Man?
Charbonnet. You got Tank, Bigsby. You
Why
got
Gibbs, man. Why you like the boy from Alabama?
Jahmyr Gibbs. I like him. Here's my thing with Jahmyr and Roll Tide.
I like how you didn't say Bijan Robinson because in your mental brain you realize you ain't getting no damn Bijan Robinson. Sit your ass down.
Man, come on, man.
I like how you didn't put that out there. I like how you did that. Like how you didn't even see it. Like
I don't really see him. If he could fall to 26, right?
If we slip speed in his backpack, yeah.
And then he slipped to 26.
Man,
with the 26th pick, the Cowboys select Bijan Robinson. Yeah, we'll be all right with it. We won't be mad. But what would be the reason why he fell that far?
Facts. That's why I said
what would be the reason why? You know what I'm saying? But I like Gibbs. I think Gibbs can do multiple things. He can catch out of the backfield, probably one of the fastest running backs out of this draft as far as his stop and go speed. And it just be a lot of lightning on the team.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something I like about Gibbs, too, is like, theoretically, fellas, like, you're going to have to find a running back that can theoretically hold you for a couple weeks because we cannot. I think we're putting ourselves at a disservice if we're thinking that Tony Pollard's going to be Tony Pollard week 1. And right. I think we're putting ourselves at a disservice thinking that a running back that's on a 1-year deal for $10 million is even going to put himself in a position to do that unless he's 100% wealthy. Because with that leg, if he re-injures it, you're going to miss like 7-8 games. This isn't something like where if you re-injure it, like it's like a Dak where you miss 4 or 5 games. You know what I'm saying? Like this is your actual leg. You know what I'm saying? If he re-injures it, there's a chance that he might not play again that season. You know what I'm saying? Just like he was this year because it requires surgery. So it's like and realistically, if you're the Cowboys, you have to put him he's going to be on a pitch count regardless. You want to know why? Because there are things that he was already not doing because Zeke was doing them, right?
Right.
So are you going to ask him to then do those things that Zeke was doing, like the power blocking on play action passes, the blitz picking up? If you're asking him to do that week 1, I don't see how that aspect is possible. I see how he can cut and take off running for his life. I could definitely see him doing that. But getting lawn chaired and then getting back up, like picking up blitzes, that is what I'm curious about. And my thing is this: do I, as an organization, with $10 million on one season, even want him doing that, bro? Like, let's just be real. The only year I didn't want Dak run was the year he got hurt.
Yeah.
Why mad at Dak for getting hurt? You want to know why? Because we was all thinking, why are you running?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I want people to look up Hunter Lupique, Lupuke. You know how you say that man's name? Y'all take a real
spell it so they can put it in the comment box.
Yeah. Let me see. Put it right here in the comment box.
I got homework.
HUNTERLUEPKE. He's a fullback, the last fullback in the world, the last man standing. Y'all look up his highlights and tape. You know what? The Cowboys might do that. Draft Hunter from North Dakota. He may be the fullback that they draft or what have you. And it could be a situation and scenario that the Cowboys go back to having one of those things, whereas you draft a Jahmyr Gibbs, you have a Tony Pollard, you have Rojo on his team, or Malik Davis, and now you have a fullback, a true fullback on this team. Because you know why? Because you remember that guy that was pulling 18-wheelers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might go back to that is a situation and scenario that the Cowboys wanted to utilize and use, but Kellen Moore didn't know what to do with it.
Hey, that's a good point, man. I mean, it's crazy because now that Kellen
Lepke, that's how they say. Shout out to you, Sugar Daddy One, Williams. That name always give me. But yeah, shout out to you, SD. That name still pause. But yeah, shout out to you, man. Nick Ralston, appreciate you too. Yeah, but go ahead, Wes.
Oh no, I was looking for the statement right now, but they actually made a statement kind of about Kellen Moore too, just about like simplifying the offense and things like that. Little things that he was doing that were kind of making the offense a little bit just too perplexed for everybody else, especially with like so many moving parts. Like when you have more moving parts, you need to have less moving people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At least your core needs to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Once you get your core the same, then you can gravitate and start adding more things to it. But it's like in a season like last year when there were so many things changing, your quarterback changing, things should have been dummied down. You know what I'm saying? And, I think something else that's also really, indicative of this is like the last fullback that the Dallas Cowboys had actually was a fullback that they did not draft, that they converted, not a fullback. He was a linebacker. It was a linebacker that they turned into a fullback. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I like my fullbacks to be made. You know what I'm saying? Guys who play football like all their life, that's great. A lot of them dudes are like former running backs. But I like to take linebackers and turn linebackers into fullbacks. The reason being is because, I want my fullback to want to hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hit the hole. Yeah. Make them pay. Yeah.
And blow dudes up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want fullback exactly. You know what I'm saying? I don't want
Hey, you got to say it's mandatory now, man, because they'll take that clip and they'll do all type of crazy stuff to it. But go ahead.
I mean, that's what I would like to see the Cowboys do. I would like to see an undrafted linebacker, a guy who, you know what I'm saying, and turn him the same thing we did with Keith Smith. Keith Smith was a guy who tied the NCAA record in tackles, didn't get drafted. The Cowboys brought him in, played him at linebacker in training camp for 1 year, and then somebody had the bright idea of turning him into a fullback. And guess what, bro? He been Pro Bowling and balling ever since. Shout out to my boy Keith Smith going to his camp on the 8th. But yeah,
shout out to Keith Smith. Where's camp gonna be? I need to come roll around myself.
It's actually out here in Cali because he's from Cali. But we're gonna be out there on the 8th. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and Keith's making a lot of money in Atlanta. And you know the dope thing I like about Atlanta? He has actually been more consistent than the actual running backs. Like every year they get a different running back, but every year they keep Keith Smith.
So he's still in the league, huh? I ain't know that.
League. Right, he just re-signed. He just re-signed for 2 years.
He must have been a goal line warrior too, though, because he was that with us. You know, that goal line. You know, somebody come hit you.
Think about this. The Falcons over the last couple of years have had what? They've had smaller running backs. They've had wide receiver playing running back. So to have a guy that can run through there and just clear the lane so their wide receiver / running back ain't getting smacked. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a thing that definitely I'm assuming works out for him. So, but I like what you're saying. Like, you know, when I heard if in this situation that we're in right now, you are going to need a fullback because if you're not able to find a complimentary back that can do those things at a high level like Zeke doing, then you have to find a guy that can clear holes for Tony Pollard so he can, because the number one thing that you don't want is you don't want somebody to step on his foot. And I know that sounds like very trivial, but when you have a broken fibula, the easiest way to step on it, the only way to break it again is for someone to just step on your foot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where do people tend to step on your foot? When you're running through the A gap, the B gap, and the C gap. And that's why the Cowboys don't really want to. And I'm going to tell you, I like what Stephen Jones said today because, bro, I was thinking in my head, there's no way in hell they're about to bring this kid back on a broken fibula and having him running up the middle. There's no way.
Well, they're going to make sure they plan it. You know, one of the things that even Mike McCarthy was saying today basically was saying that, hey, we're going to have concept. We're going to have schemes. We're going to make it user-friendly for the wide receivers now. Complications, not going to be gone. No more option routes. Basically, I'm putting words in his mouth, but that's basically what he was implying. So, yeah, your deep overs, your shallow drags. Hey, when it's time for your running back to run it, run it.
Right? Absolutely. Right. Just tote that thing. And then somebody said something over there on on your page, man, that was dope. He said that the Falcons had a rookie running back that had almost 1,000 yards that helped his fantasy football team. And it's like, think about that, man. That's a great additive to add to the importance of a fullback, man. Like Tony Pollard cannot be taking on first contact. Like that's the whole purpose of a fullback. The whole purpose of the fullback is to get you, really the offensive line's job is to get you to the second level. But your fullback is to prevent any first contact that you take on, they take it on. I'm going to smack this D tackle who actually penetrated so you can hit the hole. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we really need because on pitch counts and stuff like that, I want Tony Pollard to be running clean. And the last thing we just said right now in this first segment, we just talked about the offensive line, man. We just talked about there being changes. So there's already a chance that there might be some changes on the offensive line.
Yeah. And here's the thing. All of the running backs that we got now, none of them as small as Emmett, right? But Emmett was the guy that ran behind that massive offensive line, had big moves, Darryl Johnson right in the way. And Darryl, he would sniff out that linebacker. And, hey, that linebacker, hey, it's over with. And don't let it be a safety or somebody with that light body stuff. Moose is coming in there and knocking him over. And my guy Emmett was so small that he would hide and he would dance out. And before 5 or 6 yards, he's not touched. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And before you know it, this dude is up for another touchdown, led the league in multiple touchdowns for many a moons. So can we replicate that, my friend, with Tony Pollard, with a mixture of Rojo and whoever we draft with Malik Davis too? Oh my goodness, we can be that type of team because the way Mike Solari likes to do, he likes to pin and pull the actual center and get out in space. Tyler Biadasz is pretty good with his feet. And whoever our interior guard, we know what Zach Martin can do. Shoot, this team gonna be a whole lot better, baby.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this right here. I love the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are leaving. They're leaving options open. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I like the fact that the Dallas Cowboys kind of validated who Zeke, how we feel about Zeke. There's people who say Zeke is washed up. Okay, well, guess what? You can't say Zeke is washed up if Jerry Jones just literally said, if he doesn't get signed, we'll definitely bring him back. Like, like you can't say that. Like that's so. What does that let you know? That lets you know that Ezekiel Elliott was really released on a money standpoint, right? And think about this, Law. This is what I'm thinking about. Like, I feel like the reason why the Dallas Cowboys, why you don't off, because I mean it was already put out there. Actually Mike Fisher asked this question. Mike Fisher was actually on it this week. Salute to you.
Yeah. Shout out to you.
He was on your thing.
He can give a little flowers this week. Come on, Fish.
Yeah, he was doing this week. You know what I'm saying? I had to shout him out. But he basically asked the question, like, the same question I said earlier about, if there was a need and if there was available, would your Cowboys be interested? And Jerry Jones said, yes, he would be interested. And so what I honestly think that the Cowboys did is they wanted Zeke to go out there in that market to see his own value, to see his own worth, because it's like this, man. Like, imagine if you at your job right now, Law, and the word on the town is you haven't been performing, blase, right? And then offer you a pay cut. Yeah, you're going to be a pay cut, but guess what? Are they expecting that same production? You can't really, Law, if they cut your pay, how can they then require the same amount of production? That's not realistic, right?
I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not the same. But it don't nothing taste bitter and sweet like a humble pie.
Facts.
And that humble pie, you might not like it, but shoot, it goes both ways though. And I would like for the Cowboys, in my opinion, to have a clear mind heading into this draft, trying to find the best running back that they can find. And they draft that said running back. And if they don't get a chance to, if the board don't fall the way it's supposed to be, and if they don't get the ingredients that they're looking for, then they pick up the phone and say, Zeke, we don't have 21 for you anymore.
You got 15.
We got 15. Oh, but what about Will Greer? He wear that number. Will Greer. I mean, he ain't a state. They can cut him right now.
You know what I like?
Bring him back. Yeah.
And guess what? There's some people in the comment box that are probably, West Coast, you just let Zeke go. I'm gonna tell you, you know what? It's not even about Zeke. You know what it is? It's about my team having all-in qualities and characteristics. Like, I'm smelling like a team that's low-key trying to be all-in. Because you know what a team that's all-in says? We don't give a damn about that. If you can help us, we will bring you back. Think about this. The Patriots, what they traded Jeremy Collins, he played for another team, he got released, and then they brought him back the very next year.
Jamie Collins, right? Yeah. You talking about Jamie Collins? Yeah. They did do that.
Like it's listen to me, it ain't about name and game. What it's really about is I love hearing Jerry Jones say this. We're gonna try this, and if it don't work, we're gonna try something else. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just what it is. 12 touchdowns is still 12 touchdowns, but with a different responsibility. A lot of people look at Ezekiel Elliott and they sully and denigrate him because of the amount of money that he was getting, right? Sometimes money will make you feel kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, hey, man, have somebody ever taken you out to eat, right? And on the front end, you didn't know that you had on front of you didn't know that you was going to pay or they was going to pay, right? But it's something about when you go into a restaurant and you know someone else is paying for the full thing, the food tastes even better. So money do mean something, right? It can have the same set of circumstances. But sure, I'll never forget, man. I've always had a few pocket change. I was sitting in there watching the menu like this. Oh man, I hope, man, I gotta I'm start sweating. But when I know the meal is already paid for, man, the food tastes good. I'm ordering more. Bring me more and more drinks, man. Hey, give me some more and more food, right? So now that will be the situation and scenario, even with Ezekiel Elliott, that, hey, the money for Ezekiel Elliott is off the table. He's seen the true market for what it is worth. Those teams are not willing to pay said circumstances to have him on the team. So all of a sudden, when the Cowboys bring him back now for whatever it may be, I'm not going to disrespect the man saying for 500,000, but man, those 12 touchdowns would be very nice for 1.5.
Facts. and think about this, Law, and think about this. And at the same time, you don't kill the spirit of the player, because guess what? It wasn't me that told you he wasn't ugly. The girls did. Don't get mad at me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Yes,
I'm not saying that you're ugly. They said it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You still cute to us. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Like you said, and it's in I like it. And listen to me. If the Cowboys are able to make a decision like this, that's why I'm okay with moving on with the Schultz and the Ferguson conversation. You want to know why? Because I'm gonna have faith that the same mindset that they're using to think of this running back is the same thing they're gonna do with the tight end. Hey, if it don't work, obviously you can't get Dalton Schultz because he's already on the team. But what I'm saying is, if it doesn't work, they'll do something.
They'll do something.
They'll do something. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, guess what? You're gonna throw darts at the wall, man. What's up, Jasmine? I see you. You're gonna throw darts. Oh, and King G, I got your super chat up next. You gotta throw darts at the wall. And these other teams, they're throwing 4 and 5 darts at something.
Yeah. Some gonna hit, you know.
Kansas City lost Tyreek Hill. They threw a Sky Miller first round pick at it.
Right.
They threw Juju Smith-Schuster at it. They threw the wide receiver at freaking from the Green Bay Packers from it. And then they also went and traded from the guy for the boy Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney. Yeah, they did do that. Yeah.
They threw 4 darts at one guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that I want to do. Like the Chiefs, they don't believe in next man up. They believe in next best available man up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Ooh, I like that philosophy.
Like, you
man.
feel me? If the next man ain't good, then he ain't good. You know what I'm saying? It has to be next best man available, not just the next man.
Right. What King G had to say, because I don't want to go too far.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy King G with the $10 super chat. He says, what type of pair, running back, tight end, offensive line, fits the West Coast offense? Do we have those types? How many does that affect the way we draft, especially in the first round? Mike McCarthy looks like he's negotiating this thing as far as personnel. I will agree with the final. I will definitely say a yes on that final one, King G. It does seem like, and guess what? Welcome to being a normal NFL team. Congratulations.
Right.
Congratulations. Like, we're a normal football team. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's about getting your playmakers out in space. You know, West Coast versus the vertical spread offense. You need bigger bodies in vertical. You need guys to have size to catch those boundary passes that can catch ball in the middle of the field on a stem or a seam route. So on the West Coast, it's all about getting things out in space. You can have a guy by the size of Cavante Turpin, or you can have a guy that's speedy that don't have a lot of route trees under his belt, like a Simi Fihoko. So on deep overs and things like that. So yes, West Coast is more friendly to not just the players, but also to the quarterback too, because I like the way my guy says it, Skywalker Steele from A to Z Sports Dallas in the morning. He said check down or touchdown, right? Or touchdown to check down. Most quarterback reads from high to low. So now if that first read is not there, boom, boom, boom. You got your second and you got your hot, or you got your hot and you got your second, your dump off. Look, think about this, Wes. We've seen for many a moons or many of years, Tom Brady killing with the check down to a James White or a Buckhart or Burkhardt or what have you, smaller wide receivers like Wes Welker, etc. I forgot the other name, and those were all West Coast schemes. It's not about the size. It's about spacing and going through your progressions real quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell y'all something also. On a West Coast offense, your offensive line going to be blocking their ass off.
Yeah. You know, step right.
I'm thinking about this right now.
Yeah.
Anything that has a development on it, meaning your wide receiver has to get downfield, manipulate the corner into going some way, and then going the other way, that's mandatory 3-step drop.
Yeah.
So that means your offensive line is on a West Coast offense. You're gonna have to give Dak minimum per play at least 3 to 4 seconds. And that's about 15 yards. I mean, realistically, how long does it take? Yeah, how long does it take to get? It's remember, they're not running a 40, even though they are running a 40. There's different this time. There's a cornerback in front of him, and he's putting his hands on him. Right. So it's like it's crazy how this show is kind of like a very random show, but how everything just kind of like goes in emotion. Like if we're gonna be a West Coast offense, before we do anything West Coast, we gotta establish that offensive line, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's certain concepts, 3-step and 5-step drops, you're not going to be able to do if your offensive line can't get it. If you're rushing the passer, you're not going to be able to do that because the routes still need time to develop. It still takes time from CeeDee Lamb to run from 1 to 15 yards.
Yeah. And that's why Big Mike said today, he acknowledged, hey, ranked 28 in pass block win rate. That's not acceptable.
No, it's not.
And he said he want his quarterback to play for 20 games. And the only way that to happen is you run the ball too, and you sprinkle in the passing concepts, and you will have it. Whereas, and hear me out, and y'all can shank me all you want with the butter knife. Whereas you want to put the control of the game back to the quarterback and as well as the running game. The wide receivers had too much to say. The tight end had too much to say in an option route scheme, in a vertical scheme, whereas the wide receiver runs 5 and 7 yards and they pivot, and either they can go and turn that route into a post or a seam. You see what I'm saying? A 7 route or a flag. So it was just too many options thrown at them. Just run the play.
Yeah, man. And just I mean, I didn't want to turn this into a game, not a game, but a game about not a show about the West Coast offense, but
right.
There's some nuances that we are gonna have to understand about this West Coast offense too. And this right here, fellas. Like in a West Coast offense, Dak gonna throw more interceptions, y'all. Y'all need to get ready for that. Because
why would you say that?
Because in a West Coast offense, your quarterback has to be more accurate because there's going to be times in a West Coast offense where he's going to be throwing the ball blindly. Like he's going to be throwing the ball to a spot. That means wide receivers. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why it's a guy like Cooks is really well. And a guy like Hopkins, I'm not saying they're going to bring him in, but this year in a West Coast offense, you're going to have guys that went on their routes. Like if you go look at Steve Young, not Steve Young, but like a guy like Joe Montana, an author of it, there was rarely a time where he was throwing less than 12 interceptions. Now Dak just threw 16 this season. Now a lot of those balls were tipped, but what I'm saying is there's going to be some throws that we have to, as a nation, understand that there's a high chance that the ball might get taken, but we're still going to throw the ball. Why? Because you got to there's some, like, think about this. Imagine if Tony Romo thought Dez wasn't covered, he wouldn't have 73 touchdowns.
Well, I will have to push back on that a little bit, though. The scheme is not designed to have completely tight window throws. On your deep overs, my guy, Brandon Cooks, is just going to be naturally faster than you. And that should be an opening throw. And on top of that, especially with your shallow and your drags, I think that last year, even with the 15 to 16 interceptions that Dak Prescott threw, he had the least separations, and plus they were tight window throws that he had one of the most highest completion percentages out of that. So I look at it like this. These guys, these wide receivers, they wouldn't have time in this system to stop their feet and to also to come back to the ball on those hitch routes. So I would tell you this. If Dak Prescott throw more interceptions next year, I would stand up and say that y'all, all of the people that said that Dak Prescott is not accurate, y'all was 1,000,000% right. But for right now, I don't think that that's the case nor the scenario.
The reason I'm saying is because when you look at the quarterbacks who have excelled in the West Coast offense, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Matt Hasselbeck, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Peyton Manning, Rich Gannon, John Gruden, those are not. Dak Prescott is not like none of those quarterbacks. And
his completion percentages and his accuracy is better, believe it or not.
Let me read this to you. Read this. This is the basics of this is the basics. This is from Welsh. This is from Welsh, the author of the West Coast offense. This is what he said. The West Coast offense requires a quarterback who throws extremely accurate and often blindly, very close to opposing players. In addition, it requires the quarterback to be able to quickly pick the best of one of his 5 receiver throws, certainly much quickly than in previous used systems. Often the quarterback has no time to think about the play and must act effectively, executing the play exactly as instructed by the offensive coordinator who calls the play for him. Now, I want to read this last sentence right here. It says, in this last paragraph, it says, in this contrast to role quarterbacks were required to perform in this system, which were able to adapt and game manage was a strong arm. Many people reason with Johnny Unitas and strong arm field generals would not be fared well with their offensive coordinators. Now, listen to this right here. The West Coast offense caused a split and still evident today among quarterbacks like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. And listen to me, these are all quarterbacks that are also throwing the ball. These are quarterbacks that are throwing the ball exclusively. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Cowboys are gonna have. I don't really think it's gonna be a West Coast offense. I think it's gonna be West Coast concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Everything is not like it was in the 80s and the 90s. You will have some variations because West Coast, when you think of West Coast offense, it didn't have shotgun in it. So now what we still have principles now, whereas
we gonna have read option too.
Yeah. We have read option. So in this particular scheme, you would still have shotgun play, right? So it's like a hybrid version of a West Coast offense, but with the principles. I just look at it like this. I think that you wouldn't have to go that far back because the same principles and philosophy of West Coast was also between the year of 2017 all the way to the year 2020. And the quarterback that was very comparable to Dak Prescott was Russell Wilson. I think that I would use that as a comp, and I would use it like, hey, that's the principle that they're going to look at, because the guy that called those plays, Brian Schottenheimer, will be calling the same plays that Dak Prescott will be rolling out in 2023.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing, you know, I don't think a real West Coast offense would work in the NFL simply because the DBs are just better. You know what I'm saying? So there's always going to be variations of it. You're going to have to take, you know, portions of it, the goods and the bad, because there's just, you know, some things also that those quarterbacks weren't doing too is Joe Montana, Steve Young, Brett Favre. Well, Brett Favre to a degree. Tom Brady, Matt Hasselbeck, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Peyton Manning, Rich Gannon were not athletes like Dak Prescott also. So it's like, no matter what no matter what offense you run, what has to happen, and listen, we need to do it while Dak can still do it. Like, it's like we want Jordan, and I'm not comparing Dak to Jordan, but I'm just saying, Jordan came into the league, he was young, he dunked on you. As he got older, he shot jump shots on you. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he was still able to do that stuff, but he saved the dunks for other stuff.
Right. And
Young uses athleticism.
And the truth be told, like, I'm gonna say this again, shout out to MJ, one of the greatest of all time. You still needed Phil Jackson. I haven't seen a championship ring without him, right? And on top of that, he still needed a team. He needed Pippen, right? So no one guy win championships without the other. So you need quality coaching. You need some athletes around him. And I promise y'all, I'm winning this debate, not against you, of course, because it's not a debate, but I'm winning this debate whereas people think that just because you are great, you can do it all by yourself, and not even Jordan could do it.
Hey, and I ain't gonna lie, Steve Young was a monster. That boy, BYU all the way to 49ers. Steve was a monster. He was a monster. He was an athletic quarterback. So salute to Steve.
Yeah.
But exactly. But I'm gonna tell you this right here. Like, you know, one thing I like about these West Coast offenses with their coordinators is they heavily play to their strengths. You know what I'm saying? Heavily play to that. I think no matter what scheme that we play or we on, we have the athletes that if we can actually hang our hats on the athletes. Like, listen, you don't think there's bad offensive coordinators who are winning games? Yes.
Yes.
Hey, bro, every day. And sometimes you don't even know the difference. Think about this. In Kansas City, they didn't even know the difference. Is it Patrick Mahomes? Is it Andy Reid? Is it Eric Bieniemy? Like, we don't know who it is. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? And guess what?
And of course, you know, again, a little pushback. Hey, man, Phil needed Michael. Well, Phil won 12 rings. You know what I'm saying?
Excellent.
So we know that greatness is in there, right? So you can't dismiss one without the other. So what I'm saying is, yes, we can talk about Jordan legacy. Yes, he's one of the greatest players to ever live and play the game, but there's no tangible evidence that he won outside of college without Phil. You see what I'm saying? Or without Scottie Pippen. And we can go on and on and on about the host and the characters that was around that particular team. I'm not dismissing or taking away, but these are facts. And what you said about excuses.
Hey, excuses are facts that you don't want to accept.
Right. So,
An example of that is Law tells his daughter to be home at 11 o'clock and she walks in the house at 11:30 and she got mud all on her face and she smells like gasoline. It kind of looks like she's been changing a tire. Law says, baby girl, you supposed to be home at 11. She says, well, Dad, the car broke down and my car was my phone was I couldn't get you on the phone and I had to change the tire like you taught me. Now at that moment, right then, bing,
bang.
Law has two choices. He can either recognize this as a fact or he can recognize this as an excuse. Either way, both of them are true.
Both of them are true.
Woo. The only reason why this one is a excuse is because he may choose not to accept it. But he's a good father. He's gonna say, okay, baby, I get it. Make sure I, blah.
Yeah. And a lot of people miss the meat word about the potatoes. The name of the game is surrounding players with a good coach and also a good team. And the Cowboys would either have one without the other. I think even in the years that we had Bill Parcells, we had the good coach, but we didn't have the good team. Will you have any proof to that, Wes? Yeah, here it is right here. We were 5-11, 5-11, 5. You remember that? Remember that time frame? Yeah. And then we got the good coach, good draft situation. It upped the environment, and that's why we went to playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And back to back, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Even though he wasn't even the coach on his last year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all something too. Like before we get up out of here, I want to end it. I want to end it on this too. Like, Cowboy Nation. Like, I know we haven't won a Super Bowl,
right?
But these are some of the best times in Cowboy history, outside, like recent. Because fellas, listen, we went from going to the playoffs, going to the draft, going to the playoffs, going to the draft. We literally did that for almost like I think we did 6 years because we did 3 years, 3 times in a row. So it's like. Now you have had 2 years consecutively going to the playoffs. No matter, we need to be like these teams that like like the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals went to having nobody in their stands, to having sold out stadiums. You know what they said? We ain't trying to go back to that.
Yeah, we ain't trying to go back to that. Yeah.
Once you move out the hood, I ain't going back. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do. I got to scam some cards. I got to do whatever I got to do. I'm not going back to the hood. That's what the Cowboys. That is what the mentality needs to be. No matter, listen, you're not going to win a Super Bowl every year, but with this space that we're in right now, where we're actively trying to get one, we feel like we have a piece or we got to do this to do it. That's where we got to always stay in, because when you do that, that's when you can be like the Chiefs and win 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know why? Because they stay relevant in every year. You know what I'm
saying? And the most important thing is the reason why there's a wet floor sign with the man with the character falling, Wes.
Why?
It's to remind people that was a wet area that you can fall and slip.
Yeah.
And either you mop that stuff up or you put another sign out there and don't mop it up. And what the Kansas City Chiefs did when they made it to the Super Bowl that second time, they slipped, they fell, but they understood that in order for them to be the team to win it, they got to mop up that area. And they did that by going into the draft and drafting the offensive line, by making sure that that problem will not exist over and over again. Whereas some teams, they will see that area, they know that water is dripping there, and all they do to cover it up or to replace it is just by putting the wet floor sign there.
Yeah, and you know what that's gonna get you? A lawsuit in California.
A lawsuit in California.
Hey, let's wrap this thing up with this let's wrap this thing up with this last subject, man. Micah Parsons came out today talking about, well, the NFL changed the rule, and they say now that that players can wear the fat 0 on the field. I think that's a weird number to have, but I ain't never wore 0 before ever in any sport. But what are your thoughts on Micah Parsons switching this number? And it's crazy that these guys are switching numbers like that. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that watered down that spot, in my opinion. It's weird to me still seeing a linebacker wearing number 11. Shout out to all of the college people out there that love those smaller digit numbers. Nevertheless, I think that I'm grown accustomed to seeing Parson at number 11, and wearing 0. They're like, I don't think that would be fresh, in my opinion. He should stick to his number.
Yeah, I also feel like. I think the Cowboys, I feel like he's talking about it, but I feel like there's going to be a push for the Cowboys. Not a push, but I feel like this will definitely be one of the subjects they're going to bring in, Jerry. Like, yeah, man, you see this river of blue Parsons jerseys. You see this river of them. They're selling like hotcakes, right? Think about this, Micah. If I put a 0 on you, I'm going to sell some 0 jerseys. I am, Micah.
Yeah.
But what the hell I'm going to do with all these 11 jerseys, Micah? you're costing the church money, Micah. You know what I'm saying? Because think about this, bro. He gonna break even. He probably end up losing money because you're not gonna be able to sell as many double O jerseys as fast as you can sell the 11s that are already in possession. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from a business standpoint, I wouldn't let him change.
Nah, man. I would, hey.
Marketing standpoint, you have 7-Eleven they have a 7-Eleven contract with 7-Eleven. How do you? Right. I don't think Mike could be thinking stuff, but I love you, Mike, but I don't think you need to delete that tweet.
Yeah, man. Look, do this for your boy, Mike. Look, Jerry or somebody else, man. There's a house somewhere in Frisco on an unknown, undisclosed location, a trough full of money. Just do that, Jerry. Just tell Micah to knock on that door. He opened the door and he just pocket that money, right? Don't go to keep number 11, but don't go out there switching up the game 0. Because I don't even know. Look, it's going to be weird to see 0 out there on the NFL level, man. Is it just 0 or they can wear double zeros?
Bro, if it's double 0, you're not making bro, you don't embarrass your mama by coming out here with a double 0 on your back. A double 0 means you didn't make the team, and that was the last jersey. That was the sample jersey.
Yo, man, come on, man.
And that look good. I can't get. I listen with you. I can't get jiggy with that. I can't get jiggy with that.
Oh man, yeah, man, it's all good, man. But shout out to
you're making money on 7-Eleven. You're making money. So think about this. If you can't be 7-Eleven, that means Trevon Diggs can't be 7-Eleven.
True, always open.
You know what I mean? Like you gonna take it out of his pocket because you want to change your number. No. You should have changed the number when you came in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're done with that now.
One time,
One time for the mind. You know what I'm saying? But yo, man, listen to me. This has been a pleasure. It is always a pleasure to do shows with you, man. I appreciate you, Law, man. Hey, well, they already know. I always say, let them know where they can find you. If you watching right now, if you on the internet, if you know that you can put up the internet and be live, you know where to find Law Nation at. But Law Nation, where they can find you at, my boy.
Man, hey, you guys can find me at lawnationsports.com. And then also, and when you go there, you'll see me on Twitter as well as Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok and beyond. I really appreciate this show, us getting the chance to have our friendly debates or what have you. And people out there that's watching, man, prayers up to Nashville. We hope all is well with the family and the people over there. And shout out to everybody who prayed for the family and friends that we have out here in Mississippi. 23 and counting had lost their lives due to a tornado. And I really appreciate you guys because this is like family. And I thank y'all for your love and adulations. Let's go.
Yeah, man. And, I just natural disasters, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is crazy, man. The South, y'all get it, man. Y'all get it. Yeah. This is y'all time, man. So y'all get it. So I know y'all going through it right now, man. So we definitely gonna get y'all lifted up. You feel me? Get y'all lifted up there. You feel me? Yeah. But hey, man, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you live in an area that was affected by a goddamn natural disaster,
yeah,
your whole house blew down, and you watching Law Nation and West Coast Cowboy,
yeah,
you was a motherfucking cowboy. Yeah. Boy.
You are.
You tap yourself on the back because you's a real one. If ain't nobody told you today, boy, you's a real one. You feel me? We need more Cowboy fans just like you too. And you guys already know what it is. Never look down because stars up.